Hey guys! So, today we're going to talk about let's fix it people. So let's get into it. Now, what do I mean by let's fix it? Well, something that it depends on, of course, how long you've been in the industry, but for those of you who've been around for a little while, you may recall somebody saying this, especially when it's a new hire. Hey, this thing here, it's not really all that nice. Maybe if we did that and this and these things, it could be nicer. That's a let's fix it person. Somebody who wants to improve things, and that's a really good thing. At least in my opinion. But what's interesting is that we have a few of our new hires who are actually promoting this idea, and they're looking at things from a new perspective. And by looking at things from this new perspective, they find things that we can improve upon. Now, in my experience, there's usually two attitudes towards this sort of behavior. You either encourage it or you find it very annoying. And I've been on both sides of the spectrum, and it seems to have a very intimate relationship with the general office culture. And what I mean by that is basically the times that that sort of thing has been encouraged is when there is a energy and a hunger and an interest or a sense of ownership, if you will, from the developers that are working at the company at that given time. The times it's frowned upon, and well, maybe frowned upon is a strong statement. Let's just say that it is ignored, or I don't know how many times I've heard this. Yeah, that's true. This could be improved. Oh well. And then you go on with your merry day. When that happens, it has more to do with that nobody really gives a damn. And if you ever get to that point, it's from an engineering perspective, that's not a great thing. I mean, the company can still survive. It's just that that's the sort of thing that companies really, really actively try to avoid. Because if you ever get to that point where your own developers don't, the people working there don't even care enough to improve things, well, you're in a bit of it's not a great thing. Anywho, this perspective that I have on this is basically that, I was talking to my coworkers the other day, and we were talking about, the specific coworker was saying that, oh, I've been noticing these things here, and I would like to improve these things here, and I say, that's great, just go for it. And he kind of goes, oh, what, really? Yeah, sure, let's go for it. Because the way that I look at it, even though, we don't really have anything at this point in time that is super, super critical. So if you think that you can improve this aspect of the code base, then go for it. And then I let him in on a secret. And this is the thing that I like about this, because the way that I see it is that now, when you have new people coming in with fresh eyes, fresh perspectives, you have a little bit of a window of opportunity here, because they will, at this point in time, get double value from investigating possible improvements to certain issues that you have. Because the thing is, when you work with something for long enough, you continuously work and you improve things and so forth, but certain aspects of the code get neglected, and it's inevitable. There is no way that you're going to fix every issue, or you're going to be on every single part of the code as much as you are on other parts. And when you then have somebody who comes in who has no prior knowledge, they haven't gotten into that, well, I don't want to call it complacency, but that, I don't know what to call it, that space when, it's kind of like when you're at home and you clean up your apartment for guests, but you don't really care so much maybe if there's a bunch of dirty clothes in the corner when it's just you. The same type of principle. You kind of get comfortable in the mess that you are in. And that's always going to be the case. There is no project is perfect, and you're always going to have to live with certain things. And that's why it's so useful in my world to have new people come in and really encourage this idea of, right, let's try to improve it. Because, although, I'm just going to point this out, for the seniors out there, I'm fully aware of, and we're going to touch on the whole idea of, being able to actually improve everything. Because the thing that makes it kind of annoying to some people is that this is especially true for the juniors. The juniors will try to make improvements or suggest improvements that usually go something like this. Let's rewrite this in that, or let's redo that thing in that. And even the way that I look at that, I mean, every senior is going to kind of go, yeah, sure, it would be cool if we rewrote our entire job application into Go, but not really feasible. I mean, it's that sort of improvement. That's not really an improvement. That's a complete overhaul of something. But when somebody comes in with a perspective, all right, this small part here could be improved, I think that we should encourage that. We should encourage having people doing that, because only one of two things is going to happen in my experience when they do make an attempt. Either they're actually going to succeed and you're going to have one less issue to deal with. They might actually improve things, which is great. Or they're going to, through trying to improve something that is extremely hard to improve, realize that this code has a very good reason for not being as great as it could have been. In other words, they're going to learn quite a lot from just trying to solve this issue, and very likely they're going to find that, hey, this ugly piece of software here, because of all the requirements and the weird use case we have for it, that's why it looks that way. And it's very unlikely that you are going to, well, it's pretty much impossible for you to change it. So either you improve the code by having somebody who's fresh to kind of take a look at it, or they learn quite a lot about the system by simply investigating how to improve it. And to me, that's kind of a win-win. And if you can afford the time, I think that's a great thing to encourage. And that's why I never, like, regardless of, I mean, I did tell him later, a lot of the suggestions that my new coworker came with is things that, I mean, I suggested these, I did the exact same thing. I suggested these improvements on my first day as well. And I told them, like, I want you to reinvestigate them, even if I have, you know, since it was a year or something like that since I did it, it's better, you know, maybe things have changed in that time. And now you can have a look and see if you can solve it. If you can't, hey, nothing really, that's not really a problem, because you're going to learn something in the process of trying to fix it. So what I want you to take away from this, guys, is that although it depends kind of on your attitude towards people trying to fix and improve all these things, but I would say that there is a value, especially when there's a new hire, to allowing a new person to actually have a little bit of a think about how to improve things and so forth. I mean, don't let them go crazy, but let them kind of feel around a little bit and see if they can improve something, because either you're going to see an improvement or they're going to learn something in the process. Have a great day.